Join me as I answer your questions about the Esterbrook Peanuts collection. All right, so first up is caps. So people have asked, does this pen have the cushion closure that most Esterbrook pens have? And it doesn't. So normally when you uncap an Esterbrook, they sort of pop out. And this one doesn't, which does mean that the pen's probably going to dry out more quickly. A lot of pens in that higher end price range do have some sort of inner liner in the cap to help prevent drying out, and this SD does not. Does it look the same dimensions-wise as a normal SD? No, it is ever so slightly longer than a normal SD. A normal SD is also cigar-shaped, and this is not. The next question I got a couple times was about the clip, mostly in DMs, and that was, how tight is the clip actually? I'm actually going to take it off the pen for this. The clip is fairly tight. So this is a normal Esterbrook clip. They're pretty, it doesn't take much force, and then this one takes quite a bit of force to make it go up and down. And then I got a question about nibs and feeds. Many questions about nibs and feeds. Somebody asked, does it work with the vintage adapter? I don't have a vintage adapter in my collection, so I can't check that. What we are going to do is check if a modern Esterbrook section will screw in. I've already tested this once and I couldn't get it. Like if you look, there's a gap. Like it doesn't quite want to screw down all the way. And I don't really want to force it because I quite like my red SD. So I'm going to unscrew this. We're also going to take out this nib because supposedly, oh, it does fit. Okay. Let's see if this works. I'm going to zoom you in. All right, there they are side by side. Supposedly, this nib and feed section from a normal SD will fit into the Sally section. My concern is this: the threading does not look the same. The threading on a normal SD is a lot more recessed and a lot thinner, and there seem to be more grooves, whereas on this one beside it, you can see there's a lot fewer grooves and they come out a lot further. I don't want to wreck this feed. So we will, I guess, we'll see. Does it twist? Sort of. It doesn't really want to go all the way in. Whereas if you put the normal nib in that came with the pen, it does twist down quite smoothly. So you could probably force it. You could probably force this nib and feed to work. But I quite like this nib and I don't want to wreck this feed and housing, so we're not going to. Which leaves me with an interesting question. What about this feed and housing, which a couple of people asked about? These tend to be a slightly larger feed and housing. Yeah, there's no way that fits into this. There's no way. If you look at those side by side, No way. Yeah. Ha! Look at that. Nope. Okay. So these cannot take Navaler nibs, which was a question people ask because some people have custom nibs for their Navelers. And if they didn't fit Yogos, could they fit the custom nibs they already had? Maybe if you pull the nib in the feed, kept the feed in the housing with the pen and just swapped the nibs. But that would only work if these feeds are exactly identical, and I'm not sure that they are. Overall, I still feel conflicted. Also, if there's other things you'd like me to test in a part 3, let me know. It's definitely an interesting pen, and I feel like I've already learned a lot over the past couple days of like trying to figure it out. So I would love to help answer any more questions people have. I will be modifying this nib to make it a more pleasant writing experience. Mom will be taking control of that because I don't do my own nib work just because of how much my hands shake. Other than that, though, I still don't quite know how I feel about it. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below, and I hope you have a great day.